All right, everybody, welcome back to another Reno Uke Fest interview. We have Conrad Cayman here, who's going to
Hello.
talk to us about his life and philosophies and what he's teaching and all the good stuff. Conrad, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, we're going to start off by asking you to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I started playing 35 years ago. Borrowed a guitar from a cousin of mine. It was just sitting in the corner. Played unprofessionally in my living room for about 20 years, and then started taking camps of all things. Went to a traditional jazz camp in Sacramento, and that led to the ones in San Diego and New Orleans. And so after about three camps, one of the instructors had asked, "Hey, are you playing out?" I said no, and he said, "Think about it." And that kind of was the spark for me to actually say, okay, maybe I will try and assemble a band and try to do this a little bit. I had done an occasional open mic here and there, but again, nothing serious until then. 2 years after that, I decided to take a break from working corporate. I was a corporate sales analyst and forecasting analyst, and so lots of numbers. And said, if this lasts a year, it lasts a year. If it lasts 3 years, it lasts that. And now we're at 12 years.
And I believe that you also did quite a bit with martial arts. Is that right?
Yes. Kind of the same thing. I started those right around when I was 18 as well. And yeah, I've been training and then teaching. Been teaching that longer than I've been teaching music. I think I've been teaching martial arts for about close to 30 years.
Oh, my. Wow.
I've taught in Germany, I've taught in Belgium, Canada, and then various workshops around. I've taught um, self-defense for seniors, for incoming college students. We at UCLA, we used to go around to different departments that were asking for security briefings. And so with the whole advent of the modern day active shooter things, people were asking us, how safe is our workplace? What should we look for? And so I was part of a team that would go around and then we would talk to them about, dealing with active shooter situations and
Oh, wow.
you know,
What an important job.
I wish we didn't have to do that, but
Yeah.
it's kind of modern society.
Yeah. So that's going to probably tie in with my next question, and that is, tell us a little bit about your teaching philosophy, but specifically, I'm curious to know how your martial arts background ties in with your music teaching.
Yeah. So with it really does inform how I teach because for me training I'll say that techniques I've encountered techniques that have taken me 10 years to learn. And it's not necessarily that the technique was super hard, it's just the way I personally learned. I didn't get the message in a way that sunk into my head quick enough. So one thing that we need to be able to do as teachers that was given to me was saying have 3 to 4 different ways of explaining everything you teach, because you're going to get different types of learning, and the first message or the second message or the third message might not get through to someone. You'll say it a fourth way, and then all of a sudden the light bulb goes off, and you'll see that moment.
Mhm.
So I always tell people in my classes, if you have a question, ask it because my job's not done yet. And so that's really important to me. And then another thing that one of my teachers said was, if I do my job, you won't need me at some point. So
Yeah.
as I'm giving people information, that's my goal. I don't like to hold stuff back um, in a selfish sense. I like to just give them everything and be accessible for questions and everything so that, yes, that we can get them to learn. It's all about sharing what we have.
Teaching them how to fish.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing is that with martial arts, the way I like to teach is small bite-sized concepts that you rep over and over and over again until it sinks in. Sometimes you'll go in, and if one of those teachers is a fire hose teacher, say you have a teacher that only comes into town once a year for a seminar, and people just want to get as much knowledge from them as possible, they'll feed you with the fire hose, and he'll say, take what you can from this. I'm just throwing out 100 techniques. If there's one that comes out to you, find it, grab onto it, research it. For me, I like the opposite. I like to give a couple of concrete little pieces, rep those over and over again, so hopefully you get to go home with something.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. And I have found that with working with other teachers and some that have been teaching a really long time, uh, there are those two schools.
Yeah.
One will say, I'm going to give you a book. So
Hmm.
you have lots and lots of stuff to study, and we'll just touch on a few things today. And then there's other teachers who, by the end of this class, you're going to know how to do this one or these two specific techniques.
Right. So at
Yeah.
least we can, as a teacher, I can go home saying, okay, I know I gave them this and this,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure what they're going to get out of this one.
Yeah. And I imagine that you'll be able to also kind of teach them how to practice by doing it this
Yeah.
way.
With when you have shorter concepts, you can dig into more things like what you just said. What are ways to practice this? What are ways to implement this? How many different ways can we use whatever concept it was that we introduced in the class?
Yeah. So, what kind of advice would you give to people in a nutshell about practicing?
Do it because I don't do enough. Um, it doesn't take hours of practice per day. I think I like the short intervals of focused practice, whether it's 15 minutes twice a day, but really honing in on something. Some people, when I used to practice in college, it was literally go through, I was tabbing out flamenco and classical pieces and go through it once or twice, move on to the next song, go through it once or twice. And yeah, it was kind of pushing it into my head. But if I'd really focused on certain sections or focused on a song for 15 minutes, it might have, drilled in a little deeper and gotten in there faster.
Yeah. I was just talking about that in my fingerstyle class. We're doing Vincent by Don McLean. And for the week, they had to do all the finger picking rhythm, but I said lyrically, only work on verse one.
Hmm.
Because if you memorize verse one, there's two more verses. But when you go to sing it in front of people and you have that panic moment of like, oh shoot, what verse am I supposed to be singing right now?
Hmm.
You'll know for sure that it's not the words from verse one because you already sang that.
Yeah.
And you sang it well and you started the song strong. And now you've got two other verses that you need to worry about.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
That
that.
that's odd that you mentioned that song because that song came up just over the weekend at the Midwest uh, ukulele and harmonica camp.
Oh, really?
One of the students had done a fingerstyle arrangement of that, which
Nice.
reminded me that I have an unfinished one that I was going to clean up and do. So
Yeah.
that song is a running theme, apparently.
That's one of the fun things about being a musician and a teacher too, is that you get to dive into so much music that we're so passionate about.
Yeah.
So
That's one thing for work because I do a very specific set of eras or genre, specific set of decades for work. I do 1900s to 1939 is usually what I focus on for work. But if I'm playing for myself and wanting to do tunes that I like to do, then I'll add in 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
yeah. So what does work look like for you?
What does work look like? I freelance on four instruments depending on what a band leader needs. So I'll freelance on guitar, upright bass, ukulele, and plectrum banjo. So again, it really depends on the client. Hey, we want a Dixieland jazz band. It's like, okay, bring in the banjo. Swing band can go either way. For my band, I'm usually on guitar or banjo, depending on the client. And then I've been doing senior homes, and right now we're in summer, so they're doing a lot of luau's, and
Ah,
they're asking for ukulele players.
nice.
It just depends on go where the work goes.
Wow, so you must have quite a catalog in your brain.
Yeah, it's constantly shifting, as we all know. There's a quote from Married with Children, if you remember that show.
Mhm.
When you pour a gallon of knowledge into a shot glass of a brain, you're going to spill some. So, yeah, it's a constant like, oh, this needs to be refreshed. And yeah, sadly, we're not endless memory storage.
Mhm.
You have to, just has to move out so other stuff can move in. And it's a constant reintroducing tunes to yourself. So
Yeah,
anyone who's frustrated that they're not memorizing everything or they can't recall everything, yeah, it's part of the process.
yeah. I just posted Bobby J's fourth open mic article for the Reno Youth
Have to
Fest.
read. I know that came in this morning, I think.
Uh-huh. And he was talking about repertoire, and his philosophy is that he has 50
Hmm.
songs. And he tells me if I bring in another song, I cut one.
Hmm.
Um, and but you probably have more than 50 songs.
I just had to actually assemble for a singer I worked with this morning
Yeah.
at a senior home, and I think he was asking for songs I do vocally, and I was able to list 120.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I mean, I think I was a little generous on some that I was kind of iffy on, but I wanted to just throw them in there to kind of impress him and go, okay, you
Yeah.
any choices to go
Yeah,
from?
you'll make up some lyrics if you need
Yeah,
to put
exactly.
in there. Gosh, I wish you lived here in Portland because Perry and I have a gig coming up and our violinist can't make it. And we've been saying, wow, we got to get another rotating, soloist.
Hmm.
But you're just
Oh,
so ideal, so fun and easy to play with.
Portland is on my wish list of places to visit, so
Yeah, well,
I'll
look
have
us
to make
up when
that
you
happen.
come. So you just came and taught at the UQuest online UQuest, and you had
Right.
a class called Common Chord Progressions.
Yes.
And we were talking about how you can memorize a whole bunch of songs from that era that you were talking about because so many of them are repeated. And I just did an interview with Casey McGill, and he's the same thing. He said, same 5'2" is the same as please
Mhm.
don't talk about me when I'm gone. And it's the same as, the chord progressions are the same, the melodies and the lyrics change. Do you find that that's kind of the case with
Yeah.
your repertoire?
It's almost comedically formulaic. Like, really, guys, you had all these writers in Tin Pan Alley writing all these amazing tunes, and then you find they're using maybe what, 12, 15 different patterns. And it's
Ah,
just like everyone was using the same Lego pieces to create the same song, just in slightly different orders or in different arrangements of it. Um,
nice.
but yeah, exactly what Casey said. Once that was given to me, that method of like recognizing these patterns, yeah, memorizing songs became so much easier. The way I think I explained it at UQuest was that if you are making a pie for the very first time, you're following every ingredient to the T. I need 2 eggs. No, 2 eggs, not three. A cup of flour, this of butter, and every step you're having to memorize each of those steps individually. After you've done it 1,000 times or 100 times or even 50 times, someone can tell you, hey, make a pie crust. And you go, got it. I know exactly what that entails. And once you have that recipe down and say, you know what, this is a gluten-free recipe, you have to change the type of flour you're using. And you can switch that out. And so you'll take out one chord and you'll replace another one that fits in there. And it becomes the exception. And especially when there's something odd about if it looks like it's going to be one of those patterns and they change something on it, then you know it's like, okay, this one is different because it replaces X with this different chord or this chord with a different chord.
Yeah. Well, and I really liked also I like the analogies that you use because they're so relatable. You were talking about the different styles of chords, and
Mhm.
we know that they're called triads with extensions, like a C minor seven is a C minor triad with a
Mhm.
seven extension. But you said, but it's like a pizza. So
Yeah.
imagine you've got the triad is the dough and the sauce and the cheese.
Mhm.
Every one of them has dough, sauce, and cheese, but you can put mushrooms on top or you can put pepperoni.
Right.
Yeah, I think I just love that about your teaching. I think that the students in your class are getting so much because you make it relatable, something
Mhm.
they understand.
Humor is one thing that people have told me. It's just like you want stuff to stick, make them laugh about it. Make it so absurd and silly that it becomes something that they remember.
Yeah.
I love also bands and artists like Jim Croce and Fountains of Wayne who took the everyday and the mundane and turned them into amazing tunes. So
Yes.
there's something that falls into that, let's make something relatable. Or when I come up with these weird analogies, it's really just something, it's like, okay, that's just absurd enough that I think they'll remember it.
Yeah. Nice. So you will be teaching actually your common chord progressions at Reno. Let's talk
Yes.
about all the different workshops you're going to be doing.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, that common chord progressions, I'm glad to do that again. I can take what I learned from teaching it the last time and go, okay, I want to focus a little more on this. I have a feeling of what I liked, what I covered, and what I'd like to spend a little more time on. So yeah, we'll be doing that. So these are progressions, and I think I'll do this comedic example of playing a set of chords and run through 10 songs in a row, just rapid fire. And eventually that helps people hear those. Um, yeah, there's, as I said, there was like 15 patterns that you might want to learn, but I think we'll focus on just the absolute most common progressions that you can already, if you learn these, you can already play hundreds of songs, and not exaggerating when we say hundreds.
Nice.
And let's see, what else are we doing? We're doing circle of fifths, which really ties into that common chord progressions. I would say learning, yeah, they're kind of concurrent. So if you're familiar with numbers, the Roman numerals and the circle of fifths, you will have such an easy time with this. They're not mandatory, but having some exposure to them will help. And if not, we'll spend a few minutes and get you into that. And I also like to make myself available at festivals. So if there's someone who really wants to take the class, but they're just brand new to learning the numerals, find me for 20 minutes over lunch or over a meal and we'll talk. I'm there to work.
That's
I'm
great.
there to, of course, hang out and have fun and everything, but uh, at the end of the day, I'm there to work. So if someone wants some extra time from me, I'm happy to do that.
That's excellent. The circle of fifths is such a scary realm for some people.
Hmm.
I know it was for me. I learned it by working at my dad's music store.
Hmm.
And with Randy and Dan Elliott, but we're both like, you need to know the circle of fifths. And I
Hmm.
kept going, okay, show it to me again, show it to me again, show it to me again. And it wasn't until I applied it to a song I wanted to memorize that I
Hmm.
was like, oh, okay. And then I saw that you can see triads and you can see, and then all of a sudden, it's like the Matrix, everything starts making sense.
Yeah, I actually
So
mentioned you at Midwest.
who did?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I mentioned it's
Cool.
like that's why Danny has it tattooed on her wrist.
I do. Yeah. Actually, the yellow has faded, so my B flats are gone,
Uh,
but I memorized them. So
but yeah, so that they they understood the significance of it when I said that you have it tattooed on your arm. They're like, "Whoa, okay, I guess it really might be significant if someone's going to go so far as to tattoo it on themselves. It's not just a handout."
I use it all the time, and a lot of times I use it just to transpose between baritone and ukulele.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, there's
absolutely.
so many different ways. So I'm really glad that you're offering that class. And for those of you watching at home, you don't have to learn this music theory in order to have fun with ukulele. I think
Right.
we all know that. But if you've been playing for 10 years and you just feel like you're plateaued and you think that you have the worst memory ever and that you just can't memorize, most likely it's because you're missing the foundation, the foundational knowledge of how the chords relate to each other within each key. That's basically what the circle of fifths is for.
Yeah. Speaking of music theory, and we all know as educators that people have a fear of music theory, myself included, because one big thing about me is I did not go to music school. So a
Me
lot of it
neither.
has been, yeah, learning on the job and figuring things out. With math, that's like saying, okay, if you said, oh, I don't want to do music theory, it's too scary. That's the same thing as you going, oh, I don't want to do theoretical calculus because it's too scary. Everyone gets that, but there is basic math. There is simple addition, simple subtraction, multiplication, division that we've all done.
Yeah.
So if you start there with that really basic level math and move up into concepts, maybe get up into algebra and geometry, you don't have to go all the way to theoretical physics. You can, as long as you keep building there, you can function most of your life with basic math. For my job, I was doing a lot of algebra, but still, that isn't anywhere close to advanced trigonometry and all those other maths. So I was able to work a corporate career with algebra.
That's a good way to put it. So is this class going to be like basic math for
In a
music?
way, it's going to start there. We're going to assume that people have some basic math. So it'll start in that area, and then we'll move up a level or two and maybe into like pre-algebra.
All
Uh,
right.
And if, again, depending on the class, we teach to the level of the class. If everyone's already there, then we can go a little farther.
Yeah, that's nice. That's one really nice thing about your teaching is that you pay attention to what the class in that moment needs.
Mhm.
And there's always a balance of making sure that you're not just catering to the person with the least amount of knowledge or the person with the most knowledge.
Right. You got to hit
You
that
got to
balance.
find that in
Mhm.
between.
And the other thing, it's not about me. The class is for the students, not me. So the next one would be next level blues. We're going to take a 12 bar blues, which a lot of people are familiar with, and we're going to look at ways that we can add more colors and flavors to it. Again, using the menu or food type analogy, you can have a dish, say rice, meat, and vegetables. Everyone knows what those are, but how can we add on? It's like, hey, if you use this spice, it'll enhance both this and this. It's like, why don't we add this kind of sauce? Why don't you try adding this? How about you don't use rice and you use noodles instead? Or you know what vegetable works really good with this and that's not common with this, we'll throw that in. So ways to take a simple 12 bar blues and add a lot of colors and things to it. And then the playing with people. I did teach this at Centrum, the Port Townsend Festival earlier this year. I let people decide what songs they were going to do with their partners, and I think that took more time than I wanted it to. So what I think I'm going to do this time is select 3 to 4 tunes that people can come in with, or that we'll hand or I'll list, well, we'll upload, I guess. We'll upload those materials so that people can get familiar with them. Then when we get in the class, we can go right into how can we arrange them with a partner.
Oh, nice. So you're saying they might have them before the festival?
Yes, they will have it before the festival.
Oh, that's excellent.
And we'll make sure they're simple songs. Because the idea is, again, not to make you leave with a particular song, but the tools to arrange a song of your choice later on with the partner of your choice.
Nice. So should people come with a partner, or do you think they could form partners within the class?
I guess that could be either way. It'd be great for people to come with a partner from their town or someone that's already in their ukulele group or someone that they're close by or that they know. And then there's already that familiarity on how to work together. Your communication patterns have already been established. You know how the other person works, but there is something to be said for learning on the fly
Yeah.
and dealing with that unknown. That gives you a skill set that you won't have or you won't get with someone you already know.
Yeah. And then people have a chance to make a new friend.
Right, exactly. It's
Yeah.
all about making friends.
I know we're trying to come up with as much communal ideas. That's what the bingo card is all about. That's what band scramble was about. We're not doing band scramble this year, so having opportunities for people to make a new friends. That's one of the big parts about a festival.
And so when Band Scramble comes back around, those people that have taken this arranging class will
Uh,
have a heads up and they'll go, okay, I have this idea. And then you'll already have hopefully a set of Crayola crayons in your head that say, ooh, let's use this, and let's use this.
Indeed. Nice.
And then should we talk about the open mic class?
Yes, we are, because we're not doing the band scramble this year, which is a performance based concept. We did that for 2 years in a row and we had some fun, but we are dedicating the public stage this year to open mic and performance based workshops. So we will have plenty of opportunities for people to perform, but also a lot of workshops on how to perform. And we're very excited about Conrad's concept here. Tell us about your workshop.
It's a little mischievous, I must say. I guess we're doing it on the last day, is what I think you told me.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a culmination of all of the skills that you might have picked up from the open mic classes. At the end of the week, you will get up on stage and perform with not the assumption, knowing that something will go wrong. What's going to go wrong? It is a magical list that I have in my head right now. I don't really want to give away too many excuses, or not too many excuses, too many of the hints, but I'll give you one. It's like all of a sudden the sound goes out. What do you do? So this experience It won't even be a class because you'll get just as much of it whether you're on stage or whether you're off stage, watching how people handle any of these random situations that I know every working musician has run into at some point,
Mhm.
and getting through that. So it's not to it is a little bit to purposefully quote screw you up, but not. It's more to toss something at you. We'd rather you go through this and deal with the difficulty of the situation on a safe space rather than at an actual open mic. If
Yeah.
that stage is dedicated to all of these skill sets on how to perform, one of those is recovering from an unexpected scenario.
Yeah. Well, Perry likes to say that 90% of our performance is crisis management. Because
Yeah.
you'll know a song inside and out, and you go up there, and for whatever reason, all of a sudden it's coming around the bend, and you're going, either you don't know what section of the song you're on because you did it a few times, or oh, now the chord progression suddenly left my brain, or
Yeah.
the lyric is gone. I've had it where the lyric is gone up until, and I'm silently freaking out, thinking,
Mm.
this is verse two. It'd be really weird if I don't sing and be like, I might just go take a solo, but it will be at the tip, tip, tip. And then as the moment I'm supposed to utter something, it pops back in and there it is. And
Mhm.
the audience doesn't usually know that that was happening, but that was happening. There was a big circus going on in my head, you know?
Just last night at a gig, the sound, we had a full sound team. And the second half of the second set, so we had already done a whole full set, the sound coming out of my monitor changed. And all of a sudden, all these low frequencies were booming, and then stuff started feeding back. And then so I was having to have conversations with the sound man mid-song saying, "Is it me? Is it me? Can you drop this out?" And so while I'm still trying to concentrate on the chords, so it goes back to having those chords memorized
Yeah.
that well enough that it could be somewhat muscle memory while I turn my attention to try and figure out what's going on with the sound. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Excellent.
they'll be fun. This class is meant to be fun. It's not meant to tear anyone's ego down. It's really to have fun with it. And again, we're going to try to make this as absurd as possible so people don't take it personally when things go wrong. And if you screw up, it will help everyone learn because we will coach you from there. It's like, okay, what could we have done? We'll do a post-mortem maybe after you finish the tune. What could you have done? What are other ideas? And chances are someone in the crowd might say, oh, you could have done this.
Yeah.
Great. And we all help each other grow.
That's nice. It's like a safe place for
Yeah,
making mistakes. I like
absolutely.
that a lot.
Absolutely.
Well, we're also going to be doing something new this year where we have a couple of panels. We will have a performance panel with some artists, and I'll be hosting and asking them questions about times when a gig didn't go according to plan. But we're also going to have an educators panel, and Conrad has graciously agreed to come up and be a part of that panel. So I'll be asking you questions about educating. So people who come to this might be educators,
Mhm.
might want to teach your grandkids how to play and not really sure how to approach it, or you might be coming for, give me some practice advice, and I'll ask questions like that, like what's your number one practice advice, like we've done today, except on a kind of a deeper level. So I'm really excited to pick your brain and hear what you and the other teachers have to say about it.
Yeah, I would love to. It'd be great. Yeah, no, again, I'll tie in because I'm memorizing music from a non-music student background and taking a lot of my martial arts training and drills and methodologies that we use in martial arts to influence how I teach music.
Yeah, that is so cool and so unique, you know. All right. Well, wow. So that's a great set of workshops. I guess we're at the point of our interview where we just ask you, is there anything you can tell us about that you've got coming up? Any events, any gigs? Do you have anything on your website that you'd like to tell us about?
I am currently revamping my website, so that will be up somewhat soon. Also working on an EP. Well, maybe by October it'll be a full album.
Oh, that's right.
I'll be playing everything on the on as far as I'll be playing bass, guitars, ukuleles, lap steels, um, and yeah, just hoping to get through enough of them. I think, well, now I have time. We've gotten through the busy season. most of the busy season. I have one more trip. I'll be teaching at the Centrum Acoustic Blues workshop or festival at the end of July.
Oh,
And
nice.
I've got a break for August, and then the LA International Uke Festival comes to town third week of September, so I'll be hanging out with folks then. And then 2 weeks after that will be Reno.
Yep. October 8th through the 11th.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I have there's a little bit of time. So it's mainly that is the working on that album.
Oh, that's so exciting. And you're playing all the parts for it.
Yes.
Is this a home recording?
Home recording.
Wow. And so you're engineering it and everything.
Yeah.
Damn.
So maybe we'll put in some extra demos in there. Uh,
Nice.
People were asking me if I have a Patreon at Midwest.
Yeah.
So it's something that's going through my head of whether how viable that is for me to create content. I'd be curious as to what type of content people were looking for and what kind of schedule they would like when they do subscribe to Patreons. I do not have one at this time though.
Okay. So we can look forward to that in the future, probably.
Possibly. I'm getting people's opinions on what they'd like to see, and I'll be honest enough to say, oh, you know what, I can do that, or no, that doesn't really fit my lifestyle, my schedule right now.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're a true working musician in LA. It sounds like you've got quite a busy schedule.
I'm a full-time part-timer. So I teach martial arts, I gig on music, I teach music, and attempting to become a voice actor.
Oh, excellent.
So
Wow, what a resume.
it's just I get bored easily.
Well, that's great. You guys probably know what Patreon is. A few of our artists have talked about their Patreons. It's a platform which allows artists, musicians, podcasters, all kinds of people to create a community. So if you come to some of Conrad's workshops and you think to yourself, I would love to learn more from him. I want him to be my guru.
Mhm.
Then definitely go up and encourage him to do that Patreon. It's a monthly donation where he offers you whatever it is that you'll end up doing, which, as you said before, it's not about you, it's about the people who need something from you. So feel free to be vocal with him and say, oh man, this common chord progression thing was so cool. I would love it if you had a Patreon where you just taught us a song a week, or, just help me develop my repertoire, or challenge me with circle of fifths
Mhm.
things, challenges, or whatever it is that you decide to do.
Yeah, I will say I'm a little stronger as a one-on-one teacher or an in-person teacher than I am recording a video.
Mm,
Because I don't get that instant feedback of, is this clear yet?
yeah.
You're kind of assuming as you do a video, it's just like, okay, I'm just going to move on to the next topic. But there's no way to check in on a student to say, hey, do you need any more clarification on that?
Yeah, I hear you. The back and forth. Do you offer online lessons at this time?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So how could they get in contact with you to talk to you about that?
Conrad Cayman Music at gmail.com would be that. And then we can discuss, what times and what platforms to use.
All right. Well, it's wonderful chatting with you today, Conrad.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for making time for us. And we're
Thanks for having me.
so amped to have you joining us again at Reno this year.
Excited to see all of you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching this video, and stick around for the next interview coming up soon.